Tuesday, April 4th, and this is Geeknights. Tonight we bring you our coverage of Gaming for Hope at Marist College.
Let's do this!
We've pretty much been playing Metroid and Tetris non-stop since we got them.
But you're not going to hear about those today.
No, not for a couple weeks at least.
Dum dum dum.
Now today you're going to hear about some other things.
Good things, though.
Yeah, well, we can start with some news. I beat Kalis. Well, I beat Scott at Kalis.
I also beat you at Kalis.
I beat him in 3 rounds. I think I set a record.
Well, that's only because I forfeited. Because I neglected to look at an important piece of information in the game.
Yes, the piece of information was Rim is going to win.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's like I had this move. I could have done this move real easily, and I would have been just fine if I had done this move. But I said, you know what? I can do this move next round. Why should I do it this round?
And Rim looked
I
at the
didn't
board.
even look at the board and realize that this was the round I had to do it. And I said, oh, oops, well, there that goes.
Yep, well, at least I can say I have won 66.6 repeating % of all games of Kalis I have ever played.
I have won 33.333% of all games of Kalis I've ever
just
played.
333?
3.
3.
5 is right out.
Also is 4, unless it's... Anyway.
2, and then immediately proceed to 3.
Anyway, in the actual news... I'm sure you're all aware that Michigan, among other states, had recently tried to pass a law. Well, in fact, they did pass a law restricting the sale of certain mature video games to minors.
Just what we need, more politicians, trying to get votes by pandering to the family types.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm generally a big fan of Hillary Clinton, as controversial of a politician as that may be. But I really dislike the fact that she always seems to jump on this anti-video game bandwagon.
Yeah, well, I don't really care, either way about Hillary. I'm not, whatever. But it really pisses me off when there's all these people who are, like, otherwise okay, and then they're like, video games are evil, blah!
Yeah, like Lieberman.
Yeah, Lieberman he's not 100% okay, but he's
not.
He's like 75% okay.
Of course, there's always the Right Honorable Jack Thompson.
Jack Thompson.
0%
okay. In fact, he's negative 100% okay.
I think we've made fun of Jack Thompson in the past 86 episodes of Geeknights more than we've made fun of anyone else ever.
Well, no, this is the first time we've mentioned him in a long time.
Yeah, but we mentioned him almost every day for like 2 weeks.
That's because our podcast started amid Thompson Gate.
Yeah, in fact, it did.
Like Thompson Gates 1, 2, and 3.
Wow, sometime we're going to have to do a retrospective.
When Jack Thompson dies, which I don't imagine will be too long from now, we'll do a look back on the life of Jack Thompson.
Thinking back, I just think that the word retrospective is probably a little highbrow for what we do.
We'll give him a Lifetime Achievement Award for worst person ever.
Most humor provided.
No, there's some other things that have provided slightly more humor.
Yeah, like that frickin' Dana Carvey show that was on HBO every day for like a year.
You were just looking for a way to bring that up because we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, because it's in my head. Just chopping broccoli.
Chopping broccoli. You know what I was saying before when you weren't even in the room?
What were you saying?
Make a toe, make a tie, make a T, make a 2.
Each time I click, it's
$9.95 to you.
All right. That was off topic. And if you don't know what we were talking about, well, we're going to talk about that some Thursday, I think.
Oh, no.
I think we could do a whole show on that.
Probably.
Anyway, so this Michigan law. Basically, this law was passed, and it restricted the sale of games that were possibly violent or obscene or whatever to minors. And a state judge first ruled that there was going to be an injunction against this law being enforced while he ruled on the trial that I think the ESA had put against the law.
For anyone who doesn't know, injunction means the law doesn't count until the judge says so.
Yep.
It's like if I made a law that said Rim has to stand on his head, and then a judge said, wait, I'm going to put an injunction. That means Rim doesn't have to stand on his head yet. You have to wait.
Yeah, now injunctions are used usually if the judge thinks that there's going to be some undue harm that would come about as a result of a situation or a ruling or a law that is in place. And generally, if a judge puts forth an injunction, there's a decent chance he's going to overturn whatever he put the injunction against in the first place.
That's basically what it is.
Because if he doesn't think he's going to overturn it, he wouldn't bother.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he put the injunction some months ago, and just now he ruled on the law, and it was basically found flagrantly unconstitutional.
So he pretty much spent those months writing and not thinking.
Yeah.
I think he thought right away with that injunction action.
I mean, basically it came down to the fact that in addition to the fact that the law was just right out of the First Amendment and there were all sorts of constitutional problems with it, the lowest test of whether or not a law is constitutional is that does the law perform a stated purpose? You know, that's like the lowest thing. And it's usually trivial. I mean, if you make a law, you can assume that it'll carry out its stated purpose.
I mean,
like,
the purpose of this law is to give Rim a headache. Rim must stand on his head.
Yeah.
There I go. I did it.
Now, the law is bad, maybe bad for other reasons, but that's like the lowest bottom rung. If you can't make that, the Supreme Court's just going to laugh at you. And
you won't even make it to the Supreme Court.
Now, this law, the purpose of the law was to stop violence caused by video games among children. And they had all sorts of studies to try and back this up.
The studies they paid for that have no science in them.
Now, the judge had this to say. Dr. Anderson's studies have not provided any evidence that the relationship between violent video games and aggressive behavior exists.
You know what that tells me? The
There's no
judge
link?
fucking read the study, unlike some other people.
Yeah.
I bet you the Congress people didn't read the study.
It gets better. The research not only fails to provide concrete evidence that there is a connection between violent media and aggressive behavior, it also fails to distinguish between video games and other forms of media.
Yep.
The law was just crazy. Now, some people have said that, why should this be bad? I mean, there are laws against letting kids see R-rated movies and all that anyway.
No,
and
there aren't.
You know what? That's completely untrue.
There is no law that says a kid can't see an R-rated movie.
There are laws against corrupting minors, but those laws are fairly difficult to invoke, and they vary state to state and county to county.
To corrupt a minor, you pretty much have to, prostitute them out on the street.
Or show them hardcore snuff pornography.
Yeah, or something like that.
Now, when it comes to movies, like R-rated movies, or even, quote, NC-17 or X-rated movies, there's no law. The theaters that don't let kids in or check ID and all that are really only doing that because they're afraid that the government might pass a law.
Mm-hmm.
But there's absolutely no legal precedent. And in fact, where I grew up, there was one theater that just didn't enforce that at all, and they'd show R-rated movies to anyone.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times, we'd go to a theater, and they didn't ask for ID. And now when they ask for ID, your parent comes and says, let him in, and they let him in.
Yep.
And no one cares. The theater they want to sell tickets to 17-year-old kids. They know it's not going to, screw you over. MPA does one thing good. But something else about this law is that most of the comments I saw about it on the internet were lambasting the state Congress people for trying to push it. And the reason they were doing this is they were saying, look at this. This guy knows this law is unconstitutional. The congressman even said the law was probably unconstitutional and that he was going to try to get it passed anyway. And that means that he is spending state tax money on the stupid court system. He's making a law where he knows everyone is going to have to spend money to get it thrown out.
That's like when South Carolina recently tried to ban abortion. Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Supreme Court Roe versus Wade precedent, yeah.
It's like, I'm going to make a law and waste a whole bunch of...
You know what? I got a great idea for a law. Let's pass a law that says that whenever troops from overseas come home, they'll be quartered in people's houses.
Awesome.
That'd be fantastic.
I got an even better idea.
Huh.
If there's ever a war in this country, someone invades us, everyone's house becomes a military base.
All right, great. And while we're at it, let's add a clause to the police charter saying that they can always engage in unreasonable search and seizure.
Dude.
I want to see a lot more cruel and unusual punishment out there.
Wait, here's another one. No one can possess ethanol.
Ha ha! Didn't they try that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It worked just as well.
All right, here's a quick trivia. The first person to post in the forums the name of the federal law that was passed that actually enacted prohibition will win nothing other than me giving you a shout out at some point.
And we'll know if you use Wikipedia or the Google or something, because that's totally cheating.
You know what, though? That's fine, because in this case, if you don't know, you'll have to find out, and yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. If we're ever actually going to give a real valuable prize,
it won't be something you can wiki.
It won't be something you can just look up. It'll be something you have to figure out or some shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, the ESA, they're the ones who actually put forth the lawsuit to get rid of this law.
Yeah, if you don't know, the ESA is just like the MPAA and the RIAA. Only instead of being about movies and music, they're about video games.
Well, the other thing is they actually seem to care about the video game industry and do anything they can to protect it.
Yeah, because the video game industry isn't dying in a gutter, and it's making $1 bajillion by selling awesome video games.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't see them. I mean, they say bad things about piracy, but you don't see them going around all kinds of hoo-ha. Like the MPAA is trying to make all kinds of laws and such.
Yeah, well, they just found technological solutions. I mean, it's actually
Oh, yeah, great, like Star Force.
Well, no, that's terrible. But look at consoles. It's almost impossible to pirate games of a current generation console. You can like the current one that's out. You're not going to be able to pirate Xbox 360 games for a while.
No, not really.
But previous generations get easier and easier to pirate over time, but they seem to care less and less about that because that's almost lost revenue anyway.
I think Nintendo's got it really going on. See, what they realized is, okay, first we'll use cartridges. You can't pirate those. All right, now we can't use cartridges anymore. Okay, people are even pirating GBA games at this point.
Yeah.
People are pirating DS games at this point.
Hey, let's compete with the pirates and sell the old games everyone wants for almost nothing.
Wait, no. Here's an even better idea. Let's make it fine. You can pirate the games. Let's see you got a Revolution controller to work with your computer. Yeah, what are you going to do now, huh?
Yeah, or...
It's like, yeah, you can pirate DDR all you want. You got to buy a pad from us, bitches. That's right. What are you going to do? Huh? All right. Okay, so a guy from Microsoft today, this Microsoft security guy or whatever, he comes out and he says something that everyone's known, or at least that I've known, for a long time.
Yeah, now it used to not be 100% true in that it used to always be possible to do what he says can't be done. It was just usually not worth the effort.
You know what? Let's just not say what it is.
All right. Now it's gotten to the point where it's absolutely, in many cases, impossible to do what he said can't be done. So he is now right.
Does everyone have enough suspense?
Gabbo, Gabbo, Gabbo!
All right, so the guy says, if you get malware, adware, spyware, whatever, it's becoming really impossible to get rid of it. Once you've got it, you're done. You got to reformat your hard drive and reinstall Windows.
And you know what? That's pretty much true now. There's really no way to get rid of a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, you could get like a little spyware, maybe like, you know, a toolbar or something that was no good. And then you could
Buddy.
Yeah, Bonsai Buddy. You could
Comet Cursor.
Yeah, you could use Adware or you could use Spybot, and you could clean it out and you'd be all right.
Yeah, Adware used to be this tiny little thing that ran in like 30 seconds, and it only searched for like 20 things. Yeah, that's all there was.
Those are good days.
Good days.
Nowadays, if you get spywares or malwares or whatever, your computer is pretty much done. Like, you're just going to have to back up all your data, reformat your hard drive, reinstall Windows, put all your data back, make sure your data doesn't have spyware still in it. And
in fact, I remember we were roped into helping an old lady fix her laptop that wasn't working so well. And we found it just completely infested with I don't know how much goddamn malware and viruses and just horrible stuff. It had even disabled the antivirus stuff that she already had.
Yeah, the malware had the Norton probably wasn't updated and probably wasn't scanning, so the malware ran and then disabled the Norton so the Norton couldn't be used to remove the malware that had snuck in. And she was using IE. So let this be a lesson to everyone. It's really easy to prevent getting spyware. It's really hard to get rid of it. So don't get it in the first place. Now, Scott's easy tips on not getting it in the first place.
All right, 1, use Firefox.
2, don't use Windows.
3, don't go to shady websites.
4, before you download a piece of free software, make sure that, you know, it's either open source, legitimate free software, or that it's like not spyware.
Basically, if you can't find it on SourceForge, or it's not something well-known like, I don't know, Skype.
And if it's not on, like, download.com, you can trust download.com.
Yeah.
Because they check stuff. But, like, if you're looking on the internet for, like, I need a free program that does X, Y, and Z.
A lot of them seem to be like, I need a program that'll make icons for Windows.
Or, I need a program that'll edit this weird type of file. Or something that will do something with DVDs.
I had a flashback to the mid-90s when, I don't know how many of you out there were young enough to remember the golden age of wares, when pirated software was plentiful and everywhere. You just went to ware sites and downloaded it. Like nice categorized ware sites, and you just download like, I don't know, whatever programs I used back then. Macromedia, Flash, like 2, I don't know, all the studios. And every Where's file would come with a .nfo file. And the .nfo was just a text file that told you, who cracked the program, who pirated it, when they did it, and usually some sort of funny quote or something. And maybe how to install it, how to run the key generator, whatever. Now, there were a lot of NFO viewers out there because people didn't realize, at least stupid people didn't realize, that .nfo files were just text files with a different extension. So they download these NFO viewers that would show them the contents of the NFO and fill their computer with horrible Trojan horses and viruses.
Awesome.
That was I remember those days.
Yeah. It says right here, Dan Seglio, I don't know who Dan Seglio is, that's his last name, I guess, said the success of social engineering attacks is a sign that the weakest link in malware defense is human stupidity. Social engineering is a very, very effective technique. We have statistics that show significant infection rates for the social engineering malware. Phishing is a major problem because there really is no patch for human stupidity.
Now, we can solve this pretty handily. I mean, especially in terms of weak passwords. If you have a weak password or you're not sure if your password is strong, just email it to us at Geeknights and we'll analyze it and let you know if it's a good password or not.
Very good advice. We'll definitely set up our free...
I couldn't do it. I can't keep a straight face.
You suck. I was ready to get some passwords.
I don't think anyone would... I don't think our listeners are that stupid, frankly.
Yeah, anyone who was that stupid listening to the show would either get pissed off or who knows.
Yeah. Frankly, I wonder how much we've actually pissed anyone off, because even the most horrible things we've said about some of our listeners in the early episodes, you're all still listening.
I'll tell you what. If we piss you off, because that's what we're trying to do sometimes,
let us know immediately.
Send an email to geeknights@frontrowcrew.com.
Yeah.
All right.
You're a pimple on society's ass.
Most of you are. I'm not even joking.
There is no God, and your idiotic human ideals are laughable.
Yeah, but seriously, it says here that 250,000 unique machines got this, phishing, worm that you can only get by doing something stupid.
God.
Yeah. So, to anyone listening, don't be stupid with your computer. My thing of the day will help you out some more.
If you get an email from someone who says they're from your credit card company and you got to put in your password to fix something horribly wrong with your account, step back and think, wait a minute, wouldn't my credit card company call me if there was something bad? Or wouldn't they send me a letter or something? Would my credit card maybe stop working?
Yes, the next time before you send money to that Nigerian princess who's going to help you out, and maybe...
find out if she's a real princess.
Yeah. And whether she's in another castle or not. I think we're done.
So, things of the day. Now, this apparently, I was told recently, is a little bit older than I realized, but this is the first I've seen of it. So, basically, some dude or girl or someone who played World of Warcraft and had a
World
bunch
of
friends,
Warcraft again.
Yeah. World of Warcraft, as much as we hate it, is a great source of amusement.
It's like this festering cesspool of crap, and occasionally these really funny things come out of the crap. It's like poop. No poop's poop. You want to flush poop down the toilet, but poop jokes are hilarious.
That was a wonderful metaphor.
It was great.
Yeah. Now, first of all, before I do my thing of the day, I got a beef with the World of Warcraft community. How come there are a million videos on the internet that say there's something awesome about World of Warcraft, but they're just this screen with a guy running and a million buttons everywhere and some death metal playing over it? What the hell?
That's what World of Warcraft is.
They're 8 minutes long. What are you filming? Why is it on the internet?
That is what World of Warcraft is. And what software are you using to make these videos? Is there something in World of Warcraft that does this, or using some external program?
Or maybe some horrible malware?
That's what I was just about to say. When I used to look back in the day for Windows programs that did that, they were all either pay money or horrible malware. There's one program for Linux that does it. It's not malware, and it's not very good.
No.
So, what are you using?
Anyway, so this person who played World of Warcraft and was in a guild and had a lot of friends died in the real world.
Oh, for real? What'd he die of?
I don't know.
I'm
pretty sure it was actually a girl. That's why I clarified, because I wasn't too sure, but someone corrected someone on Dig. I think.
So a person died for real. Sucks.
And they apparently, all their guildmates contacted the family or something and logged into the account, and set up basically a funeral/wake/ceremony in game.
How did they get the password?
They, like I said, they talked to the family or something.
The family knew it?
They set something up.
All right.
And they had this huge, elaborate funeral, and hundreds of people lined up to pay their respects to the person they were friends with. And they had like a priest in the game who did something and speeches and everyone.
Wow.
So
now, wait. I got to say, it sucks that someone dies, but if you're serious about a funeral in an MMO, you got a problem.
Now, honestly, I could see this being a somewhat good thing in that, I mean, if you have friends that you can't meet in the real world and one of them dies, I mean, this is probably the only way you can all get together and talk about it.
What are you talking about? You're against real funerals.
Yeah. But that's
and
me.
now you're going to argue that you're for World of Warcraft funerals?
I understand that other people view death a lot differently from the way I view it. And I can empathize with how other people treat death. I'll talk about this on another show, but I absolutely don't care at all about death. Like, I really don't care when people die. It happens, and I don't worry about it.
Me either.
But anyway, I understand that other people do, and I think this would be a cool thing. But I'll point out that the World of Warcraft, that was really kind of awkward to say, is a violent, horrible, dangerous place in-game. If you're going to have a funeral event like that, of that magnitude, you should probably have some guards standing by or something.
Don't they have a church somewhere or something?
They did it out in the woods in this nice serene lake or something.
Yeah, great.
So they're doing this, and basically a bunch of guys in an opposing guild got together an army.
You mean the heroes?
And this army marched out to where this funeral was, hid over a hill. One guy, walks out and walks over to, the priest or whoever the focal point of all this is. It's a Google video, so I couldn't really see. Attacks him. And apparently that was the signal, because then the army comes over the ridge and they kill absolutely everyone at the funeral, screaming "poond, poond, poond" the whole time.
I seen it, and I knew what this was before we did the podcast. It's still funny.
Now, the video is great because it starts with actual quotes from various forums of people who were attacked by this after the fact. And the quotes, I'm not even going to read them on the air. They're priceless. People like, "I hope your dad dies of a heart attack." And then, when you're at the funeral, a naked guy runs in, pushes over the coffin, and runs around yelling, "Poond!"
Dude, if someone did that in real life, they would be my hero also.
But they kill everyone. And the video shows, the stately funeral and everyone lining up to pay their respects. Then it cuts to this army running through the woods. And it keeps cutting back and forth. And then it shows the chaos.
Awesome.
It was fantastic.
We should recreate that in real life.
Huh, that could be a project for a Mega 64.
It could be. Oh my god, what would Mega 64 do with World of Warcraft?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
All right, so didn't you have some thing of the day?
Yeah, it's not that exciting. It's a simple little web page with some text on it.
It's not even game related. I don't know what you're thinking.
I don't know. I couldn't find any game related ones that I thought were worthy. So whatever. It says here on the top of the page, computers and the internet according to normal users. And then there are a sequence of sentences that are humorous, such as things that these are basically things that normal users think, such as, "There's no such thing as a word processor or a spreadsheet. There is Word and Excel respectively. It's inconceivable that there would ever be a computer without them."
I like the one that was, "The internet is Internet Explorer."
Internet Explorer is more commonly known as the internet. When you say open the internet, you mean opening IE. You have no idea what a browser is or that there are alternatives to IE.
I have one thing to say. If you read this website and you think these are at all far-fetched, you have no idea how absolutely ignorant the vast majority of people are when it comes to computers.
And if you are this ignorant, any one of these, if any one of these describes you, I'm inviting you over to my house.
If you invite him over, you're not allowed to kill him.
Get out of here, Flanders.
Oakley dokley. Wow, we're just full of inside jokes today.
I don't think that one was too inside. Anyone who's seen that's like a huge Simpsons episode.
It is, but you realize how long ago that was?
Isn't it the one where Wiggum loses his job or something?
No, it's the one where
it has something to do with Wiggum.
No, Wiggum's in the room because he's talking to Homer about what to do if an intruder comes back. It's the one where Sideshow Bob is coming back to kill Bart.
It's Sideshow Bob number 2?
I think so.
Yeah, because Wiggum is like, if a man comes into your house uninvited, you can do whatever you want to him.
And he's like...
And Homer's like, "Come over here, Flanders." He's like, "Hidely ho." And then
Wiggum's
Wiggum
like,
says it doesn't work if you invite him.
Yeah.
And he's like, get out of here, Flanders.
Thank
Oakley
you.
dokley.
Thank you, Ted. That was the joke.
Yes, that was the joke. We described one inside joke. We're not giving you the rest. No more freebies.
Haha.
If you receive an email from a long-lost relative in Nigeria, it's probably legit. After all, he's got the same last name as you.
Actually, one fairly well thought out phishing scam I've seen lately that seems to affect these people, since your thing of the day and your news seem to really fit together well. They'll put something about your credit card, blah, 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 and then they'll show like the last 4 digits of your credit card number. And people think, oh, well, that must be legit. They know my credit card number. I just want to tell all of you out there that there's a finite number of last 4 digits in credit cards, and they're not very unique. In fact, they're identical across many types of cards.
Indeed. So all they do is pick 4 digits, send them out to everyone, and they'll get like a 25% hit rate.
In fact, it's a lot like the scam that the bad guy in MathNet.
Yep.
I hope you've all seen that movie. If not, I feel really, really, really old.
You know, we have an episode that you could go back in the archives and listen to. It was a Thursday. That will inform you somewhat.
I'm going to see if that movie's in frickin' Netflix.
Go for it.
Oh, yeah.
Check the IMDb first.
Well, to move on to our main bit, as we mentioned yesterday, over the weekend, we went up to Marist College where they had their annual Gaming for Hope.
Now, the first thing, let's start at the beginning.
All right, now, we can explain what Gaming for Hope is.
No, let's start even more earlier than that. I find out about Gaming for Hope on the internet.
He sends me a message with the link to it, which I promptly ignore.
I sent it again.
I click on it, and then I never actually look at the page because it opened in another tab, and then I went home from work.
I say something about it to you.
And I say, what are you talking about?
Yeah. All right, once we got past that part, and it was not such good weather, we decided to go. We had nothing better to do.
Yep. On the way, we bought Metroid Prime Hunters and Tetris DS.
Which we'll talk about in a future episode.
Yes,
but
I can say, however, that purchasing those 2 items was key to our enjoyment of Gaming for Hope.
Absolutely key.
Now, first off, I'd like to say Marist College is a really pretty campus. That is probably the most poorly designed campus I've ever set foot on.
The roads are just horrible. There were 2 different entrances. I went in one entrance, and I couldn't get to the other entrance from the one I went in.
Plus, we drive in, and every parking lot has a sign that says, if you don't have a parking permit, you will be towed.
And there's a sign that says, go to the X building security desk to get a whatever.
There's no sign saying where that building is.
Not one at all. There's just no way to get around this campus if you haven't been there. Granted, the campus isn't so large, so you're okay in that department.
We basically just drove up and down every road until we found the sign that pointed toward Gaming for Hope.
Yeah, but we found it, and it was all good.
Yeah, now it was in the gym, and we were a little worried because there was also a lot of sports going on at the same time. And it was hard to tell walking in all right, is this going to be a good event, or is this just going to be some podunk crap thing, and these people are all here for sports?
Mm-hmm. It was actually pretty sizable.
Yeah. Well, the first thing we see is a giant, beautiful Dell flat-screen display that was up for auction. Well, up for a contest.
A raffle. Yep. They actually had 2 of them for raffle.
Yeah, I bought some tickets, and I didn't win.
Damn it.
Some guy put like $70 in because he figured the odds were he'd get it.
The odds were he'd get it. There weren't so many people there.
I don't know if he actually got it.
I don't know either. Anyway, this is your typical gaming event. I mean, on one side, they had little command center tables. They were selling soda and whatnot. They had many, many rows of tables set up for LAN partying, but only about 2 of the rows worth had computers. A lot of them were empty, so...
Yeah, though I have a lot to say about that later.
Yeah. Then, around the edges of the main area of the room, they had tables with TVs and consoles set up with all kinds of games.
I mean, they had consoles ranging from, like, the newest consoles coming out now to old Nintendos. And at one point, they announced over the loudspeaker system that they needed someone with an old-ass TV because they had Pong, and they were going to hook it up.
They had a Pong Pro-Am. Not a Pong Super Pro-Am, but a Pong Pro-Am that they were ready to hook up. I saw the guy holding it, but They didn't... I don't know if they got an old TV to actually play it.
Yeah, they also had a bunch of game tournaments. I don't know if there were prizes or not.
Yeah, I don't know what the prizes were either. It seemed like they had a bunch of little doohickeys behind the command center, like little Death Star toys and whatnot.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nothing particularly interesting.
Now, we basically only went knowing, because we have that club we run with, Mozz, these gamers.
Mm-hmm.
We actually run the website on the same hosting that we run Geeknights.
Mm-hmm.
And we figured we were going to meet them there to play the new game we got, Kalis.
Which we'll talk about in another episode.
Yep. So we figured no matter how bad this event might be, we're covered. We'll play a game of Kalis and go home.
Yep. It was from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Now, we get there, And around, I don't know.
2.
Yeah, 2-ish.
Because we had to stop and eat and then stop and buy the video games.
And the Mozz guys are there. They're playing some other game. They'll probably finish up within an hour. So we decide to sit down and play some DS. Not 2 seconds after we open our DSs, a bunch of guys walk over and say, hey, you guys have DSs.
Cool guys.
And we immediately proceeded to play Metroid Prime Hunters.
With cool guys.
And then all sorts of other games.
Yep.
And I gotta say, over the course of this night, one, I saw two PSPs at all, and I saw at least 20 DSs.
At least 3 or 4 times, there were large gatherings of like 4 to 8 people in the middle of the room sitting in a circle with DSs.
Like at one point they announced, people are trying to get a full game of Mario Kart in this. Oh, the game's full, never mind.
Yep. That's how it goes.
Now, I was very pleased that I walked over to this circle of people playing Mario Kart at one point, and I asked them if anyone was any good. And they gave me this look like, are you trying to start something? And then later, over the course of the night, I raced many various people, and I kicked all of their asses into the ground handily.
Mm-hmm.
I was very pleased.
Apparently, I did the same thing with Tetris. Even though I had just bought it, apparently I'm better at Tetris than most people.
He is. I mean, he kicks my ass.
I played online, though, and some people I come across kick my ass, so it's all good.
Yep.
I'm not the god of Tetris. I'm just better than most.
But Metroid Prime Hunters is one hell of a game, especially when you're playing with a bunch of people who haven't played it before either, and you're all of the same skill, and you're sitting 5 feet from the person so you can punch them.
Yeah. We'll talk more about the game later, but the only thing I can say negative about it is that it's very controllable, but if you play too long, your hand will hurt.
Yeah, my left thumb is actually a little sore right now.
It's mostly in the lower palm. Like,
oh, well, see, you play with the stick. I play with the thumb nub.
Oh, I don't play with the thumb nub.
But yeah, we played much DS throughout the night, and everyone had DSs. I mean, there's an old guy who had a DS, all these awesome college punk gamer kids who are a lot like we were when we were in college. They were also Penny Arcade fans, which we could tell from the highbrow Penny Arcade shirt one of them was wearing.
Well, Gaming for Hope, let's go back. The gaming club at Marist, I think, was called 4G something.
Yeah, I forget.
4GH.
They also apparently have an anime club.
Yeah. Anyway, they were putting on this event. Apparently, they do it annually. You can go to gamingforhope.com and read all about it, where it's basically free LAN party, free consoles, free tournaments, free pizza.
Yeah, they fed us twice.
Like, free pizza showed up around, like, 4-ish.
Now, you should have seen this. I wish we'd had a video camera. Imagine there's, like, maybe a total of about 90, 100 people all in various corners or, like, outside the door, playing games, talking, whatever. Suddenly, someone yells, pizza. And you blink, and then your eyes open again, and everyone's gone. And you turn, and there's a sea of geeks, like, violently scrounging pizza out of boxes. Like, a box would open, it would disappear, and then another box would open, and it would disappear.
But what was great is everyone was sated. There was no one standing around like, oh, I didn't get any.
Yeah, they had pretty much exactly the right amount of pizza.
And then, to our surprise, later in the night, pizza showed up again.
Right when we were thinking, hey, we should go get some food before we die.
Yeah, it was like... How cool is that? Not only are they giving it away for free, they give it away for free twice.
Yeah.
The best part was when it came the second time, I went over to get some. A box was opened in front of me. And 2 seconds later, the box was empty, and I had to open another box. I took out 2 slices, and then the box was empty, and the next guy opened another box.
I freaking love gamers.
Oh, my God.
Now, they had some kind of deal going with balls, which apparently is an energy drink.
They seemed to have deals going on with a lot of people. It didn't seem like they had big sponsorships like the mega LAN parties do, but they had, like, like sponsorship packets that must have come from corporations, and they had a bunch of free stickers and goodies and all kinds of shit.
Yep, there was one guy who was trying to cover himself entirely in stickers.
Well, those are the stickers for the gaming club, but yeah. So, back to what Gaming for Hope is they don't collect money because it's free to get in, but all the raffle tickets and all the other money they collect, they give to Child's Play, and they have one of those giant checks and all that good stuff.
Yep, and they were selling stuff like T-shirts, and they were just taking donations, and they were selling soda. I ended up buying some balls, which I'm sure the money went to the charity, though I bought it only because they didn't have change for the bills I had. Gamers must be poor. I mean, I had a freaking $10 bill, and they couldn't make change.
Wow.
So I just bought enough pop and balls until they didn't have to give me change.
Oh, it's gamers. It's not the fact that they're gamers. Remember, it's college. no
Yeah,
money in college.
They're
Not like-
gamers and they're in college. That's like a double whammy.
Yeah. It was really weird because it's like we're people with loads and loads of money sitting in the middle of a room, people with no money.
Yeah, but we used to be those people with no money.
We did.
And you know what? Those were good days.
It was actually surprising. A lot of people that we met there were not from Marist.
Yeah, like every time we thought, all right, like we met with this one group, the guys we played DS with, and we kept running afoul of them all night. They were awesome. They were just like we were in college. And we were thinking, all right, there's some geeks around here. No, they all live from other freaking all over the place. One guy was from Jersey.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. They were cool anyway. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
And the Mozz guys, you ended up playing a lot of cool games with them.
Yeah, Kalis is fantastic.
Yeah, we'll
do a whole show about that.
Yeah, we're going to play it some more, though. I'm sure we'll play it some more before we do an episode on it.
Yep. And also, everyone was cool. I mean, we had a bunch of little kids, like not little kids, but young punk kids, and other people just walking up while we're playing, because they'd obviously never seen German board games before. So we were kind of like, hey, stick around, we'll play a game with you after we finish this. And we got all these people who really hadn't played games before to play games with us. And I think we got a few people a little bit hooked on the German-style games.
Yeah, and Mozz finally listened to my suggestions. They had some flyers and stuff, and they talked to people. So some people took the flyers, so they'll probably come to Mozz at some point, maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Get some more people there instead of just old, scary old guys.
What was the name of that really quick game we played? The chicken game where you put the cards around and you put tokens on them?
I forget.
Whatever. It was a fun game. We played it with this little punk kid.
Yep. That is fun. I played it once before. I think I told you about it too. It's a nice little easy card game, and it really sucks because you remove those 9 cards from the deck.
Yeah. Now, I guess the best testament we can give to how well done this event was is that, one, we have a really high standard for events in general.
Yeah,
like, we'll walk out of an event at the drop of a hat.
Like, we can tell when something is poorly organized, and it really, grinds the gears.
Mostly because at RIT, RIT has a massive gaming club and a massive, massive anime club. And we kind of ran and helped run the anime club for a long time. So we saw, the big events where, hundreds of people would show up and all the planning and coordination. And we saw events that went without a hitch often. And whenever a club did something poorly, we couldn't stand it, and it would bother us, because how could they do something so shittily?
What's worse is when a convention does something poorly, because that's
Ohio-Con.
you did it only once, people are paying for it, and you fucked it up.
AKA the New York Comic Con.
New York Comic Con, OhioCon, was it OhioCon 2
OhioCon
we went
2.
to? OhioCon 2, yeah.
Yeah, every other con I've gone to as well went off pretty well.
Yeah, I haven't really been to anything else that messed up.
But these guys pulled off a fairly high-class event. There were no incidents, other than one guy opened a door he shouldn't have opened and set off an alarm at one point.
Yeah, but we didn't have to evacuate or anything. It was cool.
Yeah, the only things that went wrong at all was the one tournament we wanted to enter, the doubles Mario Tennis tournament. No one ran it, and it was canceled.
Oh.
And there was this one dude playing DDR who smelled like the inside of a horse's asshole.
I couldn't tell which dude it was, but we were sitting playing DS in closer proximity to that was real smart of them. They had the DDR on the far side of the room.
Yep, DDR in the one corner, Guitar Heroes way off in the other corner.
Yeah, there were 4 empty tables meant for extra LAN people between everyone and the DDR. And the DDR pretty much had constant use by at least 2 people at a time.
So we were sitting about, 20 feet away from the DDR, just playing DS games.
And all of a sudden, I can't breathe.
Like, we all look at each other, and the one older guy we were playing with says something to the effect of, did someone step in something, or did a pipe break? And we recognized the smell because we played a lot of DDR. That's the smell of unwashed fanboy.
That is indeed the smell.
We couldn't get away from it. And we ran to the other side of the room, and we were trying to figure out, because there were 2 guys playing DDR, which one of them was the smell.
Well, I think it was a guy and a girl playing.
Well, there were 2 guys. The guy left, and a girl came over, and she was playing. And then we noticed that halfway through, she pulled off this scarf thing she was wearing and held it across her face.
Yep.
And then she booked when the song ended.
Mm-hmm.
So we're pretty sure it was that one guy.
Yeah, but then he came over to our side of the room and didn't bring his odor with him.
Yeah, so I guess either someone was dead and rotting behind the DDR screen, or maybe the guy's smell is all held in by his clothes now that it wasn't moving.
I have no idea what it was. All I can say is there was a rancid smell and DDR was the source. And yeah.
But really, we decided we were going to show up at 2 and leave, whenever we finished playing Kalis, 4 or 5.
Unless something awesome happened.
We ended up staying until pretty much midnight.
I think, but see, the thing is, though, is we would have left maybe at 10 if we knew that the Mario Tennis was scheduled for 9. We didn't look at the schedule because you're idiots. And if the Mario Tennis is scheduled for 9, and if it came around to 10 and it hadn't happened, we probably would have left.
Yeah, but instead we ended up talking to some more gamers and playing some DS.
That's all we really did between 10 and midnight was talk to gamers and play DS.
Yep.
Didn't get another board game in because that board game guy didn't return.
Yeah, which was fine because I gotta say, Kalis hurt my brain, and I wasn't really in a state to be able to play another German
Kalis
game.
is a rough game, but it's an awesome game.
Yeah, I love it a lot.
Man, we're just like totally teasing the next 2 weeks.
That's fine. Maybe people listen.
Mm-mm-mm. If they're listening now, they're already going to listen next week.
Yeah, because I will say that now that we have feeds for all the 4 days of Geek Nights, Gaming Day is by far the most popular one. It has about 40 more listeners than everything else.
Oh, really? That's kind of weird because there's a whole lot of competition when it comes to gaming news. I mean, you can go anywhere to get gaming stuff. I mean, hell, if you want to listen to 2 guys talking about video games, Gamers with Jobs Radio kicks our ass. I listen to it.
Yep. And I mean, basically, the sci-tech one is the next, and anime is almost right under that. Even though, I don't want to sound conceited, but other than Anime World Order, I can't think of any other anime podcast that even comes close to us.
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to a lot of anime podcasts because I tried to get a podcast for each geekery, and Anime World Order, they mostly talk about older stuff because they're older than we are, and they, have a slightly different perspective, but also they know a whole lot, so that's what makes their podcast really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we're the ones who talk like, oh, this anime sucks, blah, and we tend to be more humorous than informative.
Yeah, but all the other anime podcasts seem to be like really annoying fanboys that I avoid.
Because Naruto is the best anime, and I think he could beat up Goku, and my favorite thing is the PSP, because I can play Metal Gear.
Yeah, I can't take those.
Yeah.
So it's just weird that, like, in the most... maybe that's why there's so many gaming podcasts.
There's so many gamers.
So many people want to listen to one. I don't know. Whatever. Listen to whichever day you want. I don't care.
Yeah, I just noted that this is our most popular day. At least it has been for the last 3 weeks.
Cool. All right, we're going to close the show out with a little meta bits.
Yep, we got some praise for you people out there. You've all finally started to join the forums, and it's gotten to the point where I can't keep up with the forums on a regular basis anymore.
Yeah, like it used to be, I would have to go say, grr, people say stuff, and now people are saying stuff. In fact, you're saying too much stuff.
Which is great.
Yeah, so if you didn't join the forums before because they seemed too quiet and lonely and empty, well now, the, what do you call it, the catch-22 of no one joins because no one joined, well, that's over. People have joined, so now you can join also.
Yep, and I love all of you being in there. I'm going to start a flame war again. We had that awesome religion argument / flame war a while ago. I'm trying to think of a new topic that'll get everyone all pissed off.
Mm-hmm. Secondly, in the forum, there's a thread that has pictures of what frontrowcrew.com is going to look like. The newest screenshot, I think people seem to really like a lot.
Yep, I mean, I think that with maybe tiny changes based on what people in the forum say is probably going to be what Geeknights is going to look like in the coming weeks.
However, we still need a Geeknights logo. And a Front Row Crew logo would also be good.
Yep.
So if you want to make one, like I could go to this website where they have professional graphic designers and pay $100 and they would give me something that's, that would do the job.
Or we have, literally like 15 friends who are amazing artists who all said at some point, yeah, we'll make you a logo, and they've never actually done it. Yep. I don't fault them because they're all busy with school and such, but still, we don't have anything yet.
So here, I'm going to say it right now. If you have some ideas for a Geeknights logo, do like a 2-second sketch. I don't want you to do like a whole bunch of work in Photoshop for hours just to say I don't like it. So do like a 2-second sketch of what you think it's going to look like. And then scan it and email it to geeknights@frontrowcrew.com or put it in the forum or something. And if we like what you came up with, and then I'll give you $50.
Not only that, but obviously if we use what you give us, you'll get, you'll be on that credits page. The only other person on that page is DJ Pretzel.
Yeah, and your name will be in the Fight of Every podcast and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we'll probably interview you.
Yeah, that too. So,
plus, think about it. Geeknights is actually starting to grow at it's growing at a pace to where if we hadn't switched to Libsyn when we did, we would have started having bandwidth trouble in short order.
Yeah, so you could be, in the future, the person who made the Geeknights logo. And if it's a really good logo, maybe other people looking for logos will come to you and you can start a little logo-making business.
Yeah. For now, the only person who's really given us anything is our friend Cad, who actually made a fairly awesome little 8-bit style Geeknights thing that I'm thinking of putting on a business card.
Yeah, that'd be all right. but we still need one that'll look good. And go to the forum and look in that thread, and actually look at the forum. And you notice the top of the forum is this blue gradient sort of thing. It has to make a logo that will look good on that gradient. And you'll be all set.
Scott's not kidding. We'll give you $50 plus all the other stuff we say.
Yeah, because it's either give you $50 or give some professionals $100.
And we'd always rather get the amateurs or the friends or the people or the listeners that we know.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much always.
And save $50 to buy a video game.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. So that way, when a DS game comes out, you can take the $50 I gave you and buy it, and I'll take the $50 that I saved and buy the copy for me, and then we'll play some Wi-Fi action. And hopefully I'll kick your ass.
Yeah, and while we're at it, since it's gaming day, final bit, if you got DS games, put your friend codes up.
Oh, yeah, we're looking for them Tetris and Metroid friend codes big time now.
Because I know we've all been posting them, but we haven't used them a lot lately. Once we have more free time, we're going to start saying, all right, on Sunday from this time Eastern, everyone in the forums light up, and we'll play games.
Yeah, it's really hard to get a 4-player Metroid, but if we use the friend codes, I think we can get it on.
Yep, and even, Mario Kart, Tetris, anything. If we all put our friend codes together and we all just try to connect at the same time, we'll all randomly connect to each other.
Awesome.
All right, we out.
To pair.
And that was Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for our opening theme.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com. If you like our podcast, you'll love our forums. Make sure you visit them. You can send your email feedback to geeknights@gmail.com. And if you want, you can leave us a voicemail at 206-333-1537.
Geeknights airs every weeknight, Monday through Thursday.
Geeknights is recorded with absolutely no studio and no audience. But unlike those other talk shows, it's actually recorded at night.